Daily Investor, the leading South African financial news publication, intensely covers the billion-dollar scalers and other business news relevant to people considering investing in the South African market, as well as those already invested in it. An ongoing story in the Daily Investor these days is covering the JSE's plans to revive, including by boosting incentives for companies to list and moving to 24-hour trading. In addition to the Daily Investor serving as an information resource for people interested in capitalizing on South African business development, other resources also are available, including those that cater specifically to American markets. So next, we'll take a look at U.S. investment advice via some of the major providers thereof for those interested in the South African equity market. Ariel Investments is the key player in this realm. John W. Rogers Jr. and Melody Hobson founded the company in 1983, and it now manages portfolios of stocks and other publicly traded financial instruments worth approximately $14 billion. It was the first Black-owned mutual fund firm in the United States. It targets undervalued, high-quality global equities, utilizing its specialized strategy to allow U.S. institutional and retail capital to grow in emerging markets. It has a niche market in large cap municipals operating heavily in South Africa. Robert F. Smith's Vista Equity Partners is another key U.S. source for South African investment advice. Operated by the man touted as the wealthiest African American, this firm manages a portfolio of direct business ownership and private equity stakes valued at more than $100 billion. Smith founded Vista Equity Partners to focus strictly on enterprise software, data, and technology-enabled companies. The firm historically boasts a massive 30% rate of return. While primarily US-focused, Vista's massive portfolio includes companies in South Africa's dominant tech ecosystems in Silicon Cape and Johannesburg. African Diaspora Network is a Silicon Valley-based nonprofit that mobilizes the financial, intellectual, and social capital of African diasporans and their descendants. It connects entrepreneurs, investors, and philanthropists in order to foster sustainable development in Africa and uplift Black communities globally. It notes that South Africa presents a highly visible and natural target for this investment, with exports including fashion, fine art, and interior design showing up on international runways and in luxury boutiques. The network additionally notes that South Africa's Amapiano music dominates global charts, the country's digital infrastructure is robust, and its entrepreneurial class is hungry for access to global markets. The network advises people on how to spend money in South Africa, specifically to empower Black people. It says, quote, the face of a brand does not always reflect the people who hold the equity behind the scenes. Capital has a very long memory. The formal South African economy remains heavily stratified. Wealth, land, and means of production are still largely concentrated in historic white-owned monopolies, unquote. The network helps consumers and investors put money into the hands of their choice. U.S. investment advisors work closely with investment firms on the ground in African markets, such as Old Mutual Limited. This partially Black-owned firm focuses on identifying companies with high levels of Black ownership and management. It assesses the impact on Black wealth, not just based on percent ownership, but also based on the fine print of the BBBEE trust investments. While investment advisors guide us on specific financial strategies, our family networks are where we discuss, exemplify, and thus teach and learn the underlying behaviors of entrepreneurship and financial security building. So, to end our presentation today, we'll take a look at how traits that undergird economic thriving are shared in South African Black genealogies.